Why would one buy a stand or even buy a house in a gated community? Is it really worth the money? Is it really safe? Or maybe people, they're just paying for the boom gate, for the boundary wall, for the security. Hey guys, my name is Tarmac, and if you're watching me here for the first time, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much guys for the support. I really appreciate your continued support. It really means a lot to me. And don't forget to like, because liking our videos, it helps us reach new audience, reach new people, and by so doing, I know that you'll be supporting, and it also gives me the power to keep on working more and more. So today I've decided to do this video because many people have been coming to my inbox requesting, Tari, I want to buy a stand. I want to buy a stand for my retirement plan. I want to know how it goes. Should I buy in a gated community, or maybe I should invest my money somewhere else? So guys, don't worry, because this exact video is going to help you with all those questions that you have. And I know after watching this video, you're going to make the right decision on whether to buy stands or even a house in a gated community or not. Disclaimer guys, it doesn't mean that I know it all, but this information that I'm giving you, that I'm assisting you with, is based on some of the researches that I've done, and also based on some of the places that I've visited on my own. I know here there are so many people who have exposure, more than the exposure that I have, who have seen it all more than that what I have seen. But with the little information that I've gathered, that I've researched on, I know it's going to help one or two people. And one thing that I have to tell you guys is we are now trying to grow our Facebook page. And if you really love what we are doing on this channel, please just do the rightful thing and also come and follow me on my Facebook page. It's Tarmac, just the same as here. And recently I also posted on my Facebook page asking people what they think about investing in a gated community, those who have bought stands in gated communities, or those who are living in gated communities, and those who are also thinking of investing their monies in gated communities, what they really think about these places. And honestly speaking, the answers that I got from that post, yeah, it opened my eyes, and it got me thinking that I actually have to do a video on that, so that maybe we can also help one another. So without wasting much of your time guys, let's dive into today's video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this video in two parts, the pros and the cons, because we can't just talk about the pros and we can't just talk about the cons. We have to talk about all those things, so that if you see the pros to be good, then maybe you can say I'm going to invest. And if you see the cons to be really bad, then you say, no, I'm not going to invest in a gated community. But well, the first important thing that most of the people who are investing in gated communities are looking for is security. Remember, with the high unemployment rate in Zimbabwe, many people, they become hustlers. And by saying hustlers, I'm sure you know many people, they are hustling in different ways, and some they are now hustling in other people's houses. So it's all hustling after all, because you hustle in someone's house, you go and sell, you get your money and all that. But that kind of hustling, of course, it's not good. That's why some people, they are now saying, it's best I just invest my money in a gated community where there's security 24/7. Security personnel, there is a boundary wall, CCTVs, controlled access in and outside of the community. And one thing that I love about this security in gated communities is, if you're a visitor and you want to go and see someone who lives in a gated community, what you have to do is you have to call and be booked by that someone who is a resident in that community. So you can't just decide to pack your bags and go to someone's place without them knowing that you are really coming. And maybe, I know there are some people who are big-headed who just say, I'll see when I get there. If you are that kind of person, when you get to the gate that is controlled that has controlled access, the security personnel will just ask you, who are you going to see? I'm going to see Ningi Ningi. Then they will call that person to ask if that person is really coming to see you. And that resident, it's now up to him or her to say, no, just allow that person to enter, or no, I don't want any visitors. So you have got the power to decide who visits you and who doesn't visit you. Because I know there are some people who are now tired of just having people coming to their homes. Some people, they want to live their own private life. They don't want other people coming. So this is the advantage number one when it comes to security. And some gated communities, they actually have CCTVs in the whole neighborhood, like in the whole gated community. They will be having CCTVs to see people who are moving in that place, the agenda of them loitering around the community. They can actually check all those things. So it's actually number one thing. And like I mentioned the issue of perimeter wall, the boundary walls right around the community. And some, they also have security fence. It just depends with the community, but it's really good when it comes to security, because remember, when you build your own standalone house, at times it will be difficult for you to get the money to build a jura wall right around your house, or even a fence right around your house, or even to get all these cameras, CCTVs. So when you're in a gated community, you know, if you build your house, you have everything. You have everything. Let's move on to the next advantage, which is higher property value and investment stability. I know there are people who are going to argue about this, but this is also something that I've noticed. The main reason why I'm saying that there is higher property value and investment stability is because usually in most gated communities, I'm sure you can also testify to those gated communities that I've visited, you have seen that most of the houses, they are well organized, and they have got standards in gated communities whereby they say, if we want a boundary walls to be this and this size, everyone has to abide. And if they don't want like jurors, everyone has to abide to the standards. So in so doing, it also attracts even the value of the community. And one thing that I've also noticed is that in gated communities, they are organized in a sense that they are well maintained all the time. They try by all means to have their litter picked on specific dates. They also have roads maintained each and every time. They also make sure that the grass in the community is well maintained also. So because of this, it also attracts even high value clients. Most of the people who buy in gated communities, they are people with chelede cash wants that kind of value that they get in gated communities. I'm sure you know, for those who have got standalone houses, how many times have the people who are responsible for collecting litter and all that, how many times have they been visiting some of your neighborhoods? Some once, and some they don't even come and collect and come and pick litter. So with gated communities, the community tries by all means to make sure that all these standards they are met, because remember, when people they are buying these stands, they actually elect what they call homeowners association, and there's a committee that they elect that deals with all these issues to make sure that there are monies that are being paid, to make sure all these standards they are met. If there is a street light that is not working, they make sure that they replace that street light. If there is a road that has got a pothole, they make sure that they look for companies to fix that. If there are water leakages, pipe breakages and all that, they make sure that everything is repaired on time. And gated communities, they also appear more organized and modern, especially if you are to look at most of the gated communities that are coming up right now. You see the house designs that they have, they're actually modern, they are appealing. And why? Just because the gated communities have got some kind of standards, because they will be trying to have to make sure that they store value in the properties that they are buying, and also to make sure that that value is stable. Most of the people who are buying gated communities are those people in the diaspora, and also those people who are also looking for investments for rental purposes, like they want to rent their properties out, because this is the best deal if you want to rent your property out. Because nowadays, people, when they want to rent a property, they always think of a property that has got security, like I mentioned. So when you have a house in a gated community, you know that you are going to get tenants at a high value. Remember, we did a video with Shami Soswela, Mushamkazi. Now she's Mushamkazi on Facebook. We did a video with Shami Soswela, and she mentioned that she has got 2 houses in Aspendale Park and the other one in Renham Park. And for the Aspendale Park house, she's getting rentals. And also Renham Park, she was also getting rentals of an average of $500 to $700 per month. But the Aspendale Park house is sitting on 300 square meters, and the Renham Park house is also sitting on 200 square meters, but she's getting all that money. So I'm sure you can see how gated communities are when you are thinking of investing. Most of the gated communities that I've visited, especially when they are at development stage, is you have noticed that the developers, they are trying to make sure that before people start building, they make sure there are roads, well-paved roads. They make sure there is water reticulation systems. They make sure there is street lighting, proper drainage systems, just to make the community more appealing. And when the environment is good, is nice, is well maintained, it just gives that luxury lifestyle kind of feeling for those residents, for those who are living in it. And I've seen that also people who visit some of the gated communities in Zimbabwe, especially those in the northern suburbs, people, they always come and say, it feels like you are in diaspora, like you are in the UK, you are in all those well-developed countries. So those are also some of the standards that are coming with those gated communities. Just imagine a house where just imagine a community where they say each and every house has to be paved, like having pavers on your entrance. They make sure, and if they want, they can say each and every household, it should have lawn, well-maintained lawn. And if you're a resident, you also have to comply to those standards. So it makes the community look good for everyone who comes, just saying, this community is good, this community is good. And by so doing, it also makes the community's value to go up. So that's why you see most of the houses in gated communities, they are priced higher when people are selling their properties. You see a house in Borodobrook, it costs way much higher than a standalone house that is in that side also close by. So these are also some of the things that you have to consider, especially when you want to buy a house in a gated community or when you want to build a house in a gated community. And one thing that I've also noticed in so many gated communities, there is also controlled development. And by having a controlled development, it also makes the community look good, look nice, look beautiful. It prevents the community to have random structures, informal extensions, or even commercial activities next door. I'm sure you have seen this in most gated communities. They say we don't want or we don't allow people to have tuck shops in the community. And by so doing, they make sure that they build a mini shopping center close to the community, whereby people, they just go there, buy their stuff, buy their goods. So in most gated communities, there are amenities nearby. So they avoid people to have tuck shops in the neighborhood, because having tuck shops at times, value community. So yeah. And also in terms of colors, they make sure that the colors, they are also uniform. At times, people, they they are given number of colors, maybe just say 5 colors to choose from, so that it gives that uniformity. And also gated communities, people are given pre-approved plans, whereby if you want to build, you have to choose. So it also gives you the chance to really see something that you want, and you choose from a number of designs and say, this is the design that I want, and it's according to what the developer wants, the developer of that community. Remember, I also mentioned the issue to do with boundary walls, fence, like it's always controlled, whereby they also say we want so and so height for your boundary wall, so that your house will be seen like zvakanyatsonaka munhu achipfuura nekurod, that person can actually see the beauty of your house and feel like, I also want to stay in that gated community. So it's also another advantage. Even if you have made an investment in that community, you know that anytime I want to sell this house, it has got value, and anytime I want to rent my property out, it has got value. And also it makes you just to feel that you are in a luxury kind of setup, whereby everything is just beautiful, everything is just good. One of the most important things is that in gated communities there is peace and less traffic. Remember, we mentioned that there is controlled access and exit in that community. So unlike a standalone house or a standalone homes community, I don't know how to put it out, but unlike those houses where you do whatever you want, in gated communities there are no mshika-shika that comes in and out of the community at any given time. You know, trying to pick up people to different locations from point A to point B. In gated communities, it's less of that, and it also gives that safe environment even for kids to play, knowing that, I'm sure you know how combis at times behave in the streets. And also it makes the environment to be peaceful, less noise, everyone minding their own business, everyone doing what they want to do at their own time. So someone was saying, in a gated community, it's not an environment for people who love to talk about people, gossip, grapevine and all that. It's not a community for those people. And I was like, so are you telling me that in gated communities, people, they don't talk at all? But it also got me to realize that people, they always mind their own business. So yeah, everyone will be doing their own life. So what I want to talk about now is something that most people, they undermine, but it's something that is really important. In gated communities, it gives that community lifestyle. What do I mean by community lifestyle? Is that lifestyle whereby people, they feel they are one, they do their things together. At times they do events together, they share parking spots, they share like events, recreational facilities in a community, and everything will be done within the community. So at the end, it will create a bond within the residents, within the community. So it's something that also lacks in other communities. Like where I stay right now, it's very difficult to just go to someone's house and say so, because there is no that community-ness, there is no that oneness. People, they just do whatever that they will be doing. They don't even think of what is happening there, and we don't have other places whereby we meet as a community. So it's very difficult for you to have that oneness. But in gated communities, it gives you that. Just imagine for those who run every morning, who do their morning jogs and all, when you're jogging in the morning and you just pass by someone who stays in that community, and you know, this is so and so, and you just greet that person, you move on with your life. And the next time you are in the gym and you see that person again, you say, so I saw you today running, what. And at the end, you are now a family, you are now one, you are a community. So it exactly gives people that. Okay, so now that I've mentioned the pros of buying a stand or even building in a gated community, it's high time we talk of the cons, because this is one thing that has made most people to hesitate to build or even to buy stands in gated communities. But we can't run away from that. We also have to talk about it. So the number one is the issue to do with monthly levies and some other hidden costs that you are not even told when you are buying or even when you are thinking of investing. These are costs that comes after you have purchased your stand. It's times after you have actually built your house. So in gated communities, they pay levies. Remember, we said they maintain actually everything as a community. So for them to do that, there are funds that are needed for everything to be done. Remember, they maintain the community, the environment, litter, drainages and all that. So in the end, people have to pay for those things. So the security levy, we are told of maintenance fees, told of road repairs and contributions, also water infrastructure fees. So all these, when someone has not budgeted, or when someone bought land or even a stand without considering these, then someone would definitely say, no, this is not the life that I've dreamt of. This is not what I want. Because some, they actually say, it's just the same as renting. But yeah, maybe to some extent. But these are also some of the costs that you have to know, especially when you want to buy or even build in a gated community. At times, the fees might start lower, like maybe let's say $5. And in 2 years or even 3 years time, you might be hearing of $200 fees. So at times, it will be very difficult for other residents to keep up with that kind of lifestyle. So if you want to invest in a gated community, I'm sure it's something that you have to know that you will be paying levies. And most people who have been buying, I'm sure they were not even aware of some of these things, but you have to know this is what you'll be signing up for in gated communities. So another disadvantage of staying in a gated community is that there are strict rules and controlled, or maybe let me put it in this way, limited freedom. When you're a gated community, you can't make your own decisions. Everything that you do has to be approved, maybe by the committee or maybe by other residents. You can't just do something of your own. Let's say maybe you want to change the design of your house. There's a committee that has to approve that for you, or maybe even the developer who has to approve that for you. You can't just do as you please. When it comes to even installing solar panels, you might be told that you have to install solar panels in a certain way, or even if you want to put a JoJo tank at your house, you have to install it maybe in the front of your yard or even in the back. You can't just put, like maybe you want it in the front, you can't just do that. Maybe the residents or the community will be saying, we want them at the back. So because of that, you have to do what everyone else in the community is doing. You can't just make your own decision. Because of that, I know many people, like nowadays, people, they are trying to do different projects. Some, they just want to breed their own chickens. Some, they want to do some mini projects like poultry farming and all that. But in gated communities, it's very difficult for you to do so, because some people, they might say, we don't want that because matoto uku anotinuhira. And there's this other community that I went to, and some of the owner of the house that I visited was saying, I'm actually thinking of kutouraya, slaughtering all my chickens. Then I was like, why? And she said, my neighbor said, your chickens, they are making noise in the morning, so they are disturbing me while I'm sleeping. So you see, it's something that is then difficult for someone. If it's something that you have been doing, maybe as part-time, or maybe it's also a business of yours, then you can't do it because other residents, they are not in agreement of that. So if you're someone who has got that independent personality, then definitely living in a gated community will be then difficult for you. you don't fully control your property like how you would have been doing if you were staying in an open suburb. I'm sure you understand. So I'm sure in also many of the gated communities that I've visited, there's one thing that everyone might actually agree with me, that nowadays, or most of the gated communities, they have smaller stand sizes, usually ranging from around 200 square meters ending up to maybe 1,000, 2,000 square meters. You can't find a gated community in mostly the gated communities that I've visited. You can't find a gated community that has got bigger land size, maybe let's say 3,000 square meters. Yes, there are some, but there are just a few. And one thing that I know, most of the gated communities that people are affording nowadays, is those that are ranging from maybe 200 square meters to around 800, 1,000, 1,500. So because of the stand sizes, limited stand sizes, most gated communities, they maximize on land usage. So you see, there's no much land that will be left for maybe other projects. Maybe if you are someone who wants to do gardening, wants to do projects, rental cottages, big backyards, there's no land that is left for that. So usually it's just your house and that's it. You don't have other space for other things. So the Homeowners Association can actually mismanage the funds, fail to maintain the security, or even have those internal conflicts. And by so doing, it can just lead to a poor community, a poorly maintained community. So there's also something to do with social pressure and comparison. People, they always say, this house is beautiful. They compare the cars. There's always pressure to keep up with others. You see your neighbor is driving that big, beautiful car, and you just feel, I also have to own a similar car. Because usually in these communities, the person who has got money will be valued more than people who are average. So you always have that pressure to keep up with others so that you also maintain your social status in the community. There's something that is really important, that is false sense of security. In other communities, people, they are paying so big sums of money for a gated community, thinking that they will have a proper gated community. But in actual fact, what they are just having is 2 drums and that boom gate at the main entrance. But there's no actually security that you would have signed up for. And also, some people, they might be underpaying even the security system, and because of that, when someone is not being paid enough, those people, they just tend to relax on duty. So when you think you are having security in the community, in actual fact, maybe you might not be getting the security. In other communities, people, they will be paying for these CCTVs to be installed, but in actual fact, no one will be monitoring all these CCTVs, and by so doing, apana chinenge chitwa, you just start seeing kuti mbavha dziri kuwanda community theft and all that, but there's nothing that you can actually do. You will still be paying malevies wire, but pasina chiri kuitwa. Entry control is weak at times. The security personnel might just be bribed by someone who wants to enter the community, be given $10, $20, and just let someone get in the community. And by so doing, you start hearing these stories whereby in a so-and-so gated community, there was an armed robbery that happened. But how did it happen when you have got security personnel at the entrance? We have also guns at the entrance. How did that happen? So these are also some of the issues that may lead to one to say, no, it's better I look for my own security. I go to an open suburb, I do my own things, then I live my own life. One thing that I can say as I'm concluding this video is that, guys, gated communities are not good or bad, but depends on your budget, on your personality, you as an individual. What is it that you really want? Your long-term goals is, do you want the gated community house or stand that you are building to be a permanent house for you, or maybe it's just a starting point for you, or maybe it's just an investment for you. What is it that you really want? And also the specific estate management, because remember, all these gated communities, they have to have their managers who actually manage the estate to make sure that everything is done according to the standards that are needed in that community. The same way you want a manager at your workplace, the same way you want a manager on your business, is the same way that you should also have a manager, an estate manager. So before you buy a stand, or even before you buy a house in a gated community, don't just fall in love with the security. Don't just fall in love with the boom gates. Don't just fall in love with the outside of the community, but you also have to investigate more on the management side, investigate on the levies, so that you are aware of all these things. And also think long term. Is it something that you want for long term or not? So this is all that I had for today, guys, and I hope you really enjoyed watching this video, and I believe this video is going to be helpful to someone who's deciding whether to buy land in Zimbabwe in a gated community, or buy a house in a gated community or not. And I hope all the points that I have shared with you are going to help you make a decision on that. Up until next time, guys, cheers.